Hong Kong Academy is a not-for-profit IB World School founded in 2000 by two amazing visionaries. We started with 3 students, and we've proudly grown to over 600 students here in our beautiful purpose-built building out in Sai Kung.
Throughout their education journey with us, HKA students start in the International Baccalaureate Primary Years program, followed by the IB Middle Years program. They graduate with a Hong Kong Academy Diploma, which may include the IB Diploma program and the Global Citizen Diploma.
We start with our youngest learners in playgroup. These are our 2-year-olds who grow into our primary school and then up into our secondary school, where we prepare our seniors for successful post-secondary opportunities.
We are an intentionally small, deliberately diverse community, which provides our learner with an authentic environment that reflects the world at large.
Excellent. Well, welcome everyone. My name is Walter Jennings. I'm a parent of a secondary school student here at Hong Kong Academy, and we're hosting a secondary school information session. Teresa, do you want to introduce yourself?
I'd love to. And I'm Teresa Tung. I am the secondary school principal here at Hong Kong Academy.
Now, given the unique situation in the world at the moment, we're finding many families aren't as comfortable coming out to see the school. So what we wanted to do is bring the school to you. And so for the parents and the children who are thinking about where they want to go to school in Hong Kong, we're going to make a great pitch for Hong Kong Academy over the next 25 minutes. So we're going to paint a broad picture of the secondary school program and encourage you to follow up and ask questions, and then, of course, contact admissions to learn a lot more. So as I said, I'm Walter Jennings. I've been a parent here for 8 years. My son is currently in his 2nd year of high school. And it's my great pleasure to have a conversation with you, Teresa.
Yes.
Now, Teresa, this is your first year at the school. Tell us a bit more about yourself and how you came to Hong Kong Academy.
Yeah, so I joined Hong Kong Academy a couple months ago in August at the start of our school year. But actually, it was not my first time to Hong Kong Academy. I actually first came as a guest back in 2015 as part of a professional development workshop that HK was hosting at the time called Next Frontier Inclusion. And I remember when I came to this community as a guest, I thought, there's something really special going on here, because as an educator, we go to lots of conferences and workshops, and things tend to be similar. But in this particular one, I have this distinct memory of a student and parent panel that was hosted in what I can now say is our theater, but it was the theater at the time when I first came. And I remember sitting there in the audience thinking, I've never been to an education development event where the students and parents are first and foremost involved in the conversation. And I had this real sense that there was something special going on here, and there was a real warmth as well about the way that the community came across. So ever since that conversation, I had the opportunity to come back a couple times. We host a lot of professional development here for educators. And then so when the opportunity came up to join the community, I thought this would be amazing. And then in my process of course, interviewing and meeting community members, that process just affirmed that there was something special about this place. And then since I've joined in August, I can affirm, oh yeah, there's something special here.
Now, what were you doing before Hong Kong Academy? Because you were
I was in Bangkok, Thailand.
Bangkok.
Yeah, I was at another international school there that's very similar in mission to HKA in a lot of ways, and different in other ways as well. So I was in Bangkok at NIST International School for 9 years before I joined here.
Fantastic. Well, look, there are plenty of people listening to us today who haven't had the opportunity to come to Hong Kong Academy. Can you introduce us a little bit more to the school itself?
Sure. So the school in whole is an IB World School, so that means that we have the primary years program, and then we have the middle years program, and then the diploma program in the secondary.
When you say IB, International Baccalaureate.
Thank you.
No worries.
As an educator, I have to be called out for my overuse of acronyms, so that's a very good point. Yeah, so the International Baccalaureate. And I think what's really interesting about us here at HKA is that all of this is driven by our mission, right? Which is here. And the programs here are all designed so that we can deliver this mission. So HK has chosen the International Baccalaureate NYP framework and the diploma program so that we can really deliver this mission, which, as we can see here, is centered around delivering a rigorous international education and also empowering our students to figure out who are they, and what is this world around us, and what might be the ways that they contribute to that, and what's their individual path to success. So that looks like a lot of different things in our secondary school, a lot of different types of programs that we offer.
And as a parent, I've seen those words come off of the wall and really come to life.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the IB was when we first selected Hong Kong Academy.
Yeah.
And when my son was in younger years, I didn't fully understand how well he was being prepared as he advanced through the years to get him where he is today.
Yeah.
Now, he enters the IB next year. He'll
Yeah.
have 2 years of that when he finishes up high school.
Yeah.
But it really does come to life, the international education, as well as the well-rounded student.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what's really interesting about, for example, the IB as a framework for the middle years program, so that's our grade 6, so 11-year-olds to our grade 10, 16-year-olds, is that the NYP is a framework, so different schools do it slightly differently, right? And I think what's great about the programs that we have here at HKA is exactly as you said, in terms of fostering the development of the whole child. That's really where our focus is. And so in the NYP, we have these 8 subject areas, and the way that we facilitate the learning means that the units are really relevant, right? They're things that are meaningful to the students right now, and that will empower them to take that next step. And then interwoven, we've got some programs that are quite unique to HK as well, that sit and complement the IB framework.
So what is the approach to teaching and learning in Hong Kong Academy? Tell me a bit more about that.
Yeah, so there's a couple things that are really important to us. One is that we're, in education speak, constructivist, right? So that means that we believe that children and young people come to us with skills, and they come to us knowledgeable, and it's about finding out where they are right now and where they might need to go next. And so it's built on their prior understanding and prior experiences. Related to that, it's inquiry-driven, right? So it's really based on the students owning their learning, asking the questions, and then figuring out the ways to get there. It's really rooted in the global context that we're in right now. And so there's no point in learning about something unless it's meaningful and relevant to you, right? So we ensure that the design of the learning means students understand the why of what they're learning, and also why it matters in our world. We're part of the Global Citizen Diploma Consortium, and that's something that I'm excited to speak more about. And it really gives our students the opportunity to, again, figure out, why am I learning all of these things, and how does that help me contribute to the world, and how does that help me become successful as an individual as well?
Well, you said you were excited to talk a little bit more about GCD, or the Global Citizen Diploma. Introduce us a bit more to that.
Yeah, so the GCD is a 4-year program for our students in grades 9 through 12, and it's a portfolio-based program, because if you look, Walter, at the transcripts that most schools are producing these days, and you look at transcripts that maybe you or I or maybe many of the people tuning in would have received when they finished their secondary education, or the qualifications that they would have received, it probably hasn't changed very much in a long time. And the GCD is a portfolio-based program that allows our students to really highlight all of the different things about who they truly are. So in this portfolio, students will highlight, sure, maybe their academics, but they'll also highlight, for example, their wilderness engagement and how they connect in physically challenging situations. They might talk about their artistic expression if that's something that's important to them. They might include something about their understanding of, how the different global factors relate to each other, and that might be something that they've explored in an NYP or a DP class. So it's this opportunity for our students to really think about who they are and to be able to showcase that. And the sort of tagline for GCD is, my story is more than numbers, right? Because we all are so much more than numbers and credentials, and this is our way of helping to recognize that and helping to foster those kind of attitudes in our students.
Teresa, I got a question though. If I'm coming to Hong Kong Academy and I've never been in an International Baccalaureate or an IB school or a GCD school, it sounds a little overwhelming. How do you help newcomers adjust to this new learning environment?
Sure. And we do have a lot of people in that situation, right, who come and join us, and maybe they're coming from a British school or an American school or a Hong Kong school. There's a lot of different contexts that our students come from. And what we're committed to is supporting that transition in a lot of different ways. So for example, we have our advisory program. So within our community school, every student belongs to a smaller advisory group of about 9 to 12 students. And they meet daily, and we've got longer advisory sessions. And so that's an opportunity for the students to connect really specifically with one adult who might be able to guide them through some of these adjustments, right, to the learning expectations or the requirements there. And then also it creates a nice peer group, right? So because as a secondary student, when you're joining a new school, it is about making those connections to the teachers, and it's very much about making connections to other kids, right? Because they're the ones who can really tell you, this is what the MIP is about, or this is what this class is about. And so we really foster that. So there's the advisory program. We've got a sort of new student mentorship program that we run with our ambassadors, so students can really connect to their peers when they join.
Now, one of the attractions for us as a family coming to Hong Kong Academy was the dedication to language. We're a multinational family with multiple languages spoken at home. So I know there's a great language program. Why don't we talk about that? Plus also, if children are coming with English as a second language, how we adjust for that?
Sure. So we definitely value multilingualism, and we really value language learning in our school. And so we do offer Mandarin as an additional language and Spanish as an additional language. Now, whether you've had experience with either of those languages or not coming in, we would have a class that would suit you for that, for the additional languages. And then as far as English is the language of instruction. And we do have an English language learner support program if that is something that students need to access. And in the sort of admissions process, that's something we really consider in terms of how we might support whatever the level of learning is for the child coming in. And then we've got our English language learner program that some students might access once they join.
You mentioned learning support, and I know that's a big part of the community within Hong Kong Academy.
Yes.
Can we just say a few words about that?
Yeah. And I think what comes to mind to me as being the most important thing to highlight is that we're an intentionally small and deliberately diverse community. And we really believe that there's mutual benefit to learning with a range of different types of people. And those differences come in a bunch of different ways, right? And so that could be national backgrounds, that could be learning differences, that could be any number of things. And then all of our teachers are committed to, again, supporting that individual path for each kid. And so we've got, our subject-based teachers, like a math teacher or an English teacher, and we also have learner support teachers who collaborate with these teachers to ensure that the program of learning is accessible by all students. And so it's really a collaborative community effort. And what we see day to day is that when our students are learning with a diverse range of different people, everyone learns better because of that.
Yeah. Now, we've talked a lot about learning, but when you have a 16-year-old at home, you know that class is something you do in between sports, in between play breaks. Let's talk about art, music, theater, sport, everything else available here.
Absolutely. We are super lucky to be based out here in Sai Kung, and so our context for learning is amazing. We've got this purpose-built facility that our school moved out to about 8 years ago, and we've got a really robust set of extracurricular and co-curricular programs. So we've got a wide range of sports. We offer 4 seasons of sports that our students engage in, and a lot of our students engage in multiple seasons of sports. We have some really amazing student athletes
And we're also
here.
part of the international schools in the area with competitions held, and competitions held in China and Macau and Hong Kong and travel. So
yes, and this is where the acronyms go even beyond me, right?
Yeah.
So we've got ACAMIS, which is the China League, we've got SISAC, we've got our local Hong Kong League, and those are all the league sports. In addition to that, we've got this amazing parent-run weekend sports program that every Saturday the students have an opportunity to come play sports, coach sports, and there's leadership opportunities for our kids. It's parent supported. It's this amazing community program that we have. So athletics, we really, really value. I mean, in our current context of learning online, for example, we ran a virtual sports day because we really value that piece of, maybe the kids don't think of it as learning, but we do, right? That whole learning that they engage in. Our performing arts, we've got a director of performing arts here, and we're also the ISTA Academy. So ISTA is the International Schools Theater Association, and so we're the host of the ISTA Academy, and that means our students have a lot of different opportunities to engage in performing arts events, not just for the HKA community, but connected to global ISTA schools, which is really, really incredible. And we've got a wonderful visual arts and design space and program. So all of our students in grades 6 to 10 take design, and that's just a fantastic program. And then our visual arts, we've got studio space, and students can really pursue, again, their individual interests.
And I would encourage anyone who's listening and wants to know more to do talk to admissions, but also to come out to Sai Kung, because the position of the school is amazing. We're, they have windsurfing after school available right across with the South China Sea there.
Yes.
Olympic swimming pool, track and field, but the phenomenal art facilities and theater and all of that. So it's more than just classroom.
Absolutely, absolutely.
We talked a little bit about community, and I know it's a word, but it unpacks beautifully here in this school when we talk about the involvement, not just with the students, but with the families and with the community. And talk a bit more about that.
Yeah, and as someone who's still relatively new to the community, what I have found it is so welcoming, right? And we've got families who have been here for, I think it's 8 years now, right, for you guys? And I'm in 8 months maybe, but still, as soon as you're in, you feel connected, and that looks like a lot of different things. I remember when I even came first and I was in classrooms talking to kids, right away they're like, oh, you're an adult in the community, you're gonna help me, do you speak Mandarin? Can you help me with my Mandarin work? So part of it is just the approach, right? And this idea that we all learn from one another. Sometimes it's the weekend sports program, as I mentioned, where the parents are running things for the kids. We see parents around the campus all the time, and we've got a cafe where parents come and socialize as well. And we really work together in partnership to support the learning of everyone. We run parent education workshops so parents can learn about the latest trends in education or in supporting well-being for their children. So community really comes out in a lot of different ways, and I think fundamentally it comes out in the fact that everyone's committed to this mission and to doing what's best for our kids, and we connect in that way.
I've really seen the community come to the fore during current times as we're adjusting to remote learning and to challenging changes in the way we educate. But it's been wonderful to see all of the inventive solutions. So if you're interested to see how Hong Kong Academy adapts, it's been doing a wonderful job in the moment.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think it's, we talked about our great facilities, which we're proud of, and we, invite interested people to come see. And we're not just a campus, right? Hong Kong Academy is an idea. It's a community. It's a group of people who are doing this for our kids. And so that takes lots of different forms, and sometimes we're really creative and innovative with the way that we make sure that happens. And I agree, I think in current times, everyone in the community has really shown that. We're still doing this together.
Now we've got a few more minutes, and I do want to see, how does Hong Kong Academy set students up for life after high school? College, trades, vocations, different opportunities. So tell me about the after graduation.
Yeah. So we talk a lot about sort of post-secondary pathways, right? We've talked about our mission and this idea of having individual pathways through Hong Kong Academy. Our students graduate with an American-style 4-year high school diploma, and also students have the opportunity to, for example, do the full IB diploma, which culminates in exams. And we see our students go to a variety of different post-secondary options. So a lot of them do go to tertiary tertiary education, so colleges and universities. We send kids to North America, we send kids to Europe, we send kids to the UK. I've got here a list of some of the recent university matriculations. So for example, in the UK, we've had students go on to Imperial College London, to University of Bristol, to University of Oxford in the United Kingdom. You know, in North America, we've had kids go on to Cornell University, New York University, University of Toronto, to Europe and the rest of the world. There's a lot of Dutch universities now that offer international programs. We've got a lot of kids who have gone off to that and are interested in that. Forgive me, my French is horrible. So École Hôtelière de Lausanne in Switzerland, which is the premier hospitality school in Switzerland. So those are some of the like universities and colleges our kids go on to. And then we also have kids who go on and they take gap years, and they might be pursuing something vocational. And what's really interesting is we continue to support them even after they switch from student to alum. So right now our post-secondary counselor is working with some kids over this year who actually graduated already, but are now, after a gap year, looking at what their next steps are. And so coming back to community, we stay in touch with that. And I think fundamentally, you know, there's some schools and some approaches where we think about like, here's the best, and there's like kind of a ranking list, and we're trying to get kids into whatever the best is. But what we fundamentally recognize is what is the best fit? Yeah. You know, what is the best fit for each person to realize their potential with us when they're here in HKA and then also beyond. And we're committed to helping our students find that best fit and go on to that best fit.
So last question, what's it like on campus on a normal day when the kids are teaming? What's it feel like?
Joyous. I think joyous. I mean, right now in current circumstances, that's the biggest thing we miss right now is, of course, having that, you know, interaction with our kids and our community. And when this place is full of the kids, it's just joyous because you walk around, the kids are working and talking with each other across grade levels. We've got parents around, and everyone's just happy to be here. And I will say, even in this current circumstance, you know, we're running like synchronous interactive classes, and even in those, you know, it's still joyous. There's still laughter. There's still that connection. So
fantastic. Well, I encourage anyone who wants to know more to come out, visit the school at Sai Kung, contact admissions, meet with Teresa, meet with parents, meet with kids. I mean, it's part of the community.
Yeah.
You'll get that sense as soon as you come here. So.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Walter.
It's been a delight.